Hi, my name is Kevin Falco, and this is my final presentation. I did my final project on Sorrent Cadillac. This is a dealership located in Farmingdale on Hempstead Turnpike, just off of the Seaford Oyster Bay Expressway. Uh, Mr. Sorrent, many years ago, purchased this building simply because the exterior is so different and appealing that he thought it would bring customers. He managed to build it up from the interior and so on, from the showroom all the way to little gadgets in the shop. uh, this dealer has been up and running for many years now, and has also been and still is one of the strongest Cadillac dealerships on Long Island today. I chose to do my project on them because not only did they go through an extreme challenge 3 years ago, but I actually worked at Sorrent Cadillac when this challenge came about. So I guess you could say that I kind of experienced this firsthand, and I thought that this would be a good idea to do my project on. The challenge that they went through was the General Motors crisis of 2009. I'm sure everyone is familiar with this, as it was a point in time where the big three industrial companies almost claimed bankruptcy, as General Motors, Chrysler, and Ford as well. These companies that were forced to take government loans out to help them stay afloat and prevent bankruptcy. Um, this was obviously also a huge dilemma for all American car dealers because the threat of staying in business was very present. Um, this company, Sorrent Cadillac, had plenty to lose, almost everything to lose, but at the same time, they had very little to gain. uh, well, I say very little to gain because we knew we weren't going to get anything that we didn't already have, being a dealership that is still in business and a job to go to day with some sort of income. Um, People were in fear for their jobs. They were afraid of losing their income or how they would pay their monthly bills if General Motors were to close the doors on Sorrent. It's pretty simple. General Motors at this time sent out countless letters to their dealers all over the country, forcing them to shut down their facilities as it would aid them in staying alive. Needless to say, all employees, as I said, had pretty much everything to lose at this point. The way they addressed it in a couple different ways. I think they addressed this obstacle to the best of their abilities, and they did a great job in executing it. Um, there were more than just one simple solution to this crisis, and they pinpointed many different ways in aiding business. There was an enormous amount of time and effort spent into keeping customer satisfaction ratings above all other dealerships that surrounded them. I personally think that customer satisfaction was one of the most important elements of this survival plan because CSI is extremely important to General Motors and it's constantly monitored by them. Another thing they did was Sorrent Management made sure that every single aspect of this facility was up to specifications. All parts were returned to the parts department for necessary callbacks on General Motors as normal. All vehicles that were serviced under warranty were justified under that warranty repair. So there was absolutely no suspicion of any type of foul play, proving that Sorrent Cadillac ran their dealership the GM way or no way. Uh, another thing that another thing that management did was which was also a very important attribute to this plan, is make sure that the employee morale stayed positive. This was emotionally and mentally also important for all the employees. Not knowing if you're going to have a job the next week can take a toll on one's performance on the job. And bad performance on a job ultimately goes back to low CSI ratings, which General Motors would not like and would probably force, shutting down of that facility. Lastly, on their plan, management hired a specific team to devote all of their working hours into coming up with new ideas or new advertisements towards bringing in extra revenue to the company. This was a little bit of a blow towards the technicians because these big customer incentives ultimately came out of the technicians' pockets. But at the same time, it hurt them now, it would save them a job for tomorrow. The ending resolution to this problem was that General Motors eventually sent a letter out to Sorrent Cadillac saying that they were one of the strongest dealerships on the island, and they were glad to announce that Sorrent Cadillac would ultimately stay in business for as long as General Motors was in business. The public's response to this was definitely in a positive manner. It wasn't publicly broadcasted that Sorrent would continue to stay up and running, but customers knew that Sorrent was a strong dealership simply because the doors were never shut. With this came a relatively big surplus in business because many of the dealerships in that area were unfortunately closed down. Sorrent stayed up and running. So there were nowhere for miles to get your vehicle serviced, obviously, so long as it's General Motors. So they came to Sorrent, and it actually ended up working out very well. In conclusion, I think that the key to their success and staying in business was superior management. They came up with some sort of plan for survival. They stuck with it. The fact that their customer satisfaction was already high played an enormous role in their survival. This goes to show that one should always strive for the best and maintain satisfied customers, because you never know when a dilemma like this is going to come around once again. And CSI, I think, was the key role in survival of Sorrent. And that's it. Thank you.